Hey everybody, welcome to the Junk You Should Know Show. I'm Dr. Heather Denniston, and with me today is Miguel Vargus from TRX, which we are going to explain all about what that is here in just a minute. And Miguel has brought a guest with him, Memphis, and we are very excited to see Memphis. Hi, Memphis! And first, before we get going, we are talking about suspension training today. I also want to remind you that last week's show went viral, and that was with Reed Cooter from Phoenix Physical Therapy. So if you did not see that show, make sure to check on that. And we're going to have a little background noise today, but no worries, no big deal. We're going to just get through it and get some great content and information, and we're going to just have a good time. So I'm looking forward to it. So Miguel, I met you at the IDEA conference, and I took a TRX class with you, and that was wonderful. You did a fantastic job. And I thought, you know what better person to have on the show to talk about suspension training than the expert at TRX, who basically invented the whole system. And so I would love to just hear about your journey, what got you into what you're doing, and how you got involved with TRX.
Okay, so that was a whole lot of questions, but let me start off. So I've been with TRX since 2010, and I mean, it has been an amazing journey. Just started off in the studio of managing the training center here in San Francisco, and over the course of the years, just me being stubborn and not wanting to settle, always wanting to learn and grow. I've had the opportunity to grow within the company as my current position is training and development manager on the education and content team.
Wonderful.
But also fortunate enough to be one of our senior course instructors that helps, kind of deliver the message across the globe. It's been a really awesome 8 years, 8 years now, and coming into 9, and it's just, learned so much. And, my background, I've been an athlete my whole life. And so, the irony, the first time I got introduced to TRX was back in 2008. And it was actually as a model. I'd been asked to do a photo shoot, and, they're like, we're going to work you pretty hard today. And I'm like, oh yeah, it shouldn't be a big deal. And I mean, after a 6-hour photo shoot, I don't think I could move for like a week after that. And, I wasn't in the fitness industry at the time, but, public transportation in San Francisco, fast forward, a couple months later, deciding to move into the fitness industry. TRX came up as one of the opportunities that were available. And I'm like, oh, I remember that thing. And, and I mean, from there, I ended up getting the position, and, TRX it's a really awesome family, and I'm really fortunate to be a part of it, and I mean the rest is history. I mean, there's so much to talk about as far as like the journey, and looking forward to jumping into some of those questions.
We're going to get into that, because my journey started back in 2010 when my sister gave me one for a birthday and showed me the first 12 moves, and I was completely hooked, no pun intended. It's transportable, it's doable for any age group or experience level. It's fantastic. And you're not the only suspension training out there, but the thing is that you guys have developed it to such a point, and you've got the backing up of incredible talent and exercise development and and all of that. And so I think that's what's really powerful. This is not, we're not just here promoting TRX, we're promoting the concept of suspension training. And so that's what I want to get into. But first, you don't even know this, but I have a TRX to give away today.
Oh, no way.
Yes, awesome. I do. That's awesome. So I have a unit that I'm going to ship to someone, and the criteria I'm going to put above in the description of what you have to do to win that TRX. And so good luck to anybody who follows through on that. I'll put the details above and in the comments below. And so that's kind of exciting because like it was a gift for me, and it really changed the way I work out. And so I look forward to influencing somebody else in that way as well. So
that's so awesome. Yeah.
I know, I'm very excited about that. Yeah. One of your good friends down there at TRX was kind enough to let me promote that today. So now tell me, one of the most fascinating things for me is the history of TRX. Can you, in a nutshell, just give us like, why was it developed? Who invented it? What the story was there?
Okay, so the why is the big thing. Right now, my big thing is why. I'm reading a book about whys and all that stuff. And why TRX was based out of necessity. Randy Hetrick, our CEO, my language with badass Navy SEAL. As he's deployed with his team, they can't just sit around and like play cards all day, and there's no 24-hour fitnesses when you're deployed. So it was one of those things that they needed to stay mission ready. And as a combat, someone who's in the field being able to do that, you have to be mission ready. And so just by chance, he happened to have his jiu-jitsu belt handy. And I don't give the story as much detail and life as he can, but it's one of those things like he, rigged it together, put it over the wall, started doing some pulls, because as someone who's in the field, climbing is something that if you don't train it, you lose it. And so being able to work those pulling muscles was a great opportunity for him to stay ready. And so fast forward a couple of years, he goes to Stanford Business School, and he's still got this great idea that he's been working on, and he's getting all of his people in his unit and his people that are in his class like, you got to try this, and he graduates from Stanford, and this is his product that he came out with. And fast forward a couple of years after that, you're looking at TRX, the suspension training unit. And you made a comment about this earlier. There's tons of other things that are out on the market, but what a lot of people don't realize is we're not just a product company, we're an education company. And
Absolutely.
So the education that goes into the training and the content and everything that's delivered out to the consumer is what we pride ourselves on, and that's where we like to put a lot of the emphasis. And so I'm glad you mentioned that, and I just wanted
to sure. And I don't want to gloss over the fact that I've tried all of the suspension training units out there, and I'm still a TRX 100% advocate, because I think you do put into the product some structure and just some details that are missed on some of the other products. But regardless, what is most important is you've got an incredible customer service, you've got an incredible education team, you've got an app, you've got all sorts of things that are very supportive. And I love that I can look up so much online and get free videos and things and instructional stuff that is super, super helpful to get you started. So we will definitely put some links down below of some beginner type moves that you can be doing on TRX, and we'll talk a little bit about that today.
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
I always, my viewers get sick of me talking about functional training, but I am just militant about the idea of training for life and for longevity. And so that's one of the core things that I love about TRX is your basic moves that you emphasize. Can you tell me a little bit about that?
Man, how much time do we have?
Right. Well, tell me just like, because you guys, it's reach, pull, go, just tell me what the foundational moves are and why do we do that?
So to break it down really simply, the body doesn't know muscle groups, it knows movement patterns. And so we want to make sure that we're training your movement patterns for success. And so it doesn't matter whether you're Homer Simpson or Superman, we want you to move often, we want you to move well, and we want you to move injury-free. And so if you can understand our foundational movements that stem from the plank, because we have to understand what should be mobile and what should be stable, and we want to start with that stable plank at the top. And then from there, we move into the pull, because we like to say the TRX suspension trainer is the best piece of pulling equipment on the market. And then if I could teach you to pull, I could teach you to push.
Yeah.
We also talk about squatting. If I could teach you to hinge, this is our other.
I love it.
This is Valerie, my 5-year-old.
Hi, Valerie. That's awesome.
so if I could teach you to hinge, using those hips, then I can teach you to squat. And
Yeah.
from hinge and squat comes lunge, and from push and press comes rotate. So that's our
Yeah.
7: plank, push, pull, squat, lunge, rotate, hinge, and plank.
I love it. And that's what I wanted to know, because that foundational principle is what you build all of your exercise booklets and your, app videos and all your workouts come from that foundation, and people have to understand that. And if they're just going out there and trying to figure out a couple exercises to do, and they don't understand those foundational principles, that's could be a recipe for injury, but they're certainly not going to get the best results that they could. And
sure.
So I think that's really key. And so one of the questions I have is it a certain population that should be doing suspension training? Is it kind of limited to people like yourself who are kind of fit already?
Absolutely not. I'm a big believer in fun. How much fun can you have training on a tool? I always like to tell my class, we got 4 rules every time we work out or every time we train. If it hurts, don't do it. If you need a break, take one. When it feels good, get after it. But most importantly, I want you to have fun. And then the joke is, how much fun can you have while you're getting your butt kicked in a workout?
Right.
And so the people that show up to these classes range. I mean, the age group that we have is anywhere from mid-20s up into the 50s and early 60s, and there's always the intimidation factor of like, oh man, who's this big guy teaching this class? And then at the end of the day, like, I just want you to move better. So if I can get you to have some fun while we're moving a little bit better, then it's a win for everyone. And so
true.
I work with high school kids sometimes, and we go out to the schools, and my daughter, she can get out here and she can show you how to do a couple exercises, because she'll see dad moving, and it's not like, oh, I got to go work out. It's, I'm going to go play on the straps. And so when you can think of this as a toy that's helping you move better for the everyday things that you're doing, it gets a lot better.
I love that. And I will share, there was one point, my mom was about 73 at the time. We went down to the park, set up 2 sets of straps, and I took her through a few exercises, because the beauty of it is that you can adapt it. It's body weight. And so there's so many ways of adapting it to make it a little easier for yourself. And so there's always a starting point.
Guess what?
So I think that's great. No worries, you're fine.
No. It's one of those things, like, as we age and at different points in our life, we're going to have different goals. And, when I'm in my 20s and then I'm in my 30s, I'll take that away.
No, I didn't know go. I thought somebody dropped that, and I thought I step on it and put it. I have not heard
My neighbor.
the 14th time that
Daddy, guess what? The husband or daughter is her birthday's in April 19th.
This is awesome.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
I'm on a call right now, but I will get back to you. And
It is. Isn't that super cool?
super cool.
Miguel, you are fantastic.
Oh my goodness.
Listen, let's go
Thank
through.
you so much. Sorry.
Oh my gosh, this is hysterical. Let's go through, let's show the straps, show a couple exercises, then we'll just talk a little bit about how people kind of get going on it, and then we're good.
So, I mean, most importantly, you want to make sure that you are using, check out our app, the TRX Training app, because it's got some great exercises for beginners up to, elite athletes, and that's the best part about it. If I always say, if you're new to the straps, like, I'm not going to try to force it on you. Just grab it. When you put your hands on these straps, you're going to figure out one of two things. This is a great tool that I could just stretch with for a little bit. The big joke is when I see big guys at the gym, they're like, what am I going to do with that? And then you see them and they'll walk back and kind of just do this, like, and then they kind of turn around and do this one here. And they're like, all right, good. Now I'm ready to work out. And I'm like, whoa, hold on. Now, have you thought about trying something else? And so, but I mean, if we can get you to just do a low back stretch and a chest stretch to open up your shoulders, like, that's a win. Yeah. Because now you put your hands on the straps and you realize, like, okay, this is going to be a tool for stretching in the beginning. And then when you want to learn more you're like, oh, well, what else can I do with these straps? And then you learn about, I want to do some squats. I want to do some lunges. I want to do something where I can load and unload. And, when you have the kids, he wants to hold on to the straps. You want to hold on? And then we do some squats. And then we drive back up.
Yay, Memphis.
Yeah.
Oh my
but,
gosh, that's so awesome.
This is one of those squats, doing the squats on the straps is one of my favorite ways to get, my hips, knees, and ankles opened up, just because I can unload, and depending on how I woke up that day, or if I'm going to, get out and go for a run, we've got some great chest stretches, but also hip openers where, sorry that my back's to you, but
oh yeah, that's fine.
If you're, kind of stepping away,
yes,
you're kind of coming up and adding a little bit of movement to it. And if you're, at home and you have the kids, if I'm going to do anything, it's really just to pass the time, because I know if he's in the carrier, he's pretty solid. And I would if I'm going to do anything with him, I'll just turn him around and keep it simple. It's not about getting a workout. It's about passing the time and showing my daughter that, hey, we can all hang out and we can have a good time. 12:40. I'll hold that. I'll just give it to her. Male.
There we go. Hey, I think that's such a good starting point. And then to also let people know, I've been in cardio TRX workouts where it is harder than any spin class, harder than any, and so you can ramp it all the way up to that, to insanity if you want to, but you don't have to.
Oh my goodness.
So there's no end to the challenge. And another thing I love about it, Miguel, is that you guys have done a great job of doing sport specific packages where, like, if I'm a golfer, I can look up on your website and see the TRX moves I need to do for golfing. And I love that. And I've used that for skiing. I've used that for yoga. You can even do yoga on the straps. There is so many different things that we can be doing. So I think that's such a great introduction. And I know out there, viewers, a lot of you have seen these at the gym. And so don't hesitate to go and pick them up, download the TRX app, and start doing a few exercises on there. Ask for some help from a trainer if you're not quite sure what to do. But absolutely, it is such a great addition to your workout regimen. There are days I go in and I never go off the straps. I'm on them, and that's where I do my whole workout. Cardio, strength training, stretching, everything. And then other days I just use it as a part of other things that I'm doing. And so there's all sorts of options there. Now, as a chiropractor, one last question I want to give you, and that is, what about folks that are injured? Is that a good idea for them to be working on the straps?
So I'm gonna backtrack just a little bit and then finish with that.
Please.
So I showed you a couple of stretching exercises, mainly because I don't want this guy bouncing around. Last time I did some time to get a lot of flack in the comments. But like you said, you can definitely take this from I just want to use this to warm up, or I'm traveling on the road and I need this to be my warm up, my workout, my cool down. I want this to be my conditioning. And the funny thing is we started as a company that just said we can do 1,000 different exercises on the suspension trainer. And now we've kind of scaled it back that said, there's 1,000 different exercises that you can do out there. But what if we picked 100 exercises and learned how to do them really well? And we talk a lot about how do we, set a standard, and then how do we change the conditions? And the conditions can be time, it can be speed, it can be vector, it can be amount of reps that you're doing. And so that right there is going to change the whole outlook of the workout. And an example this morning with a client, we were doing a lunge with the squat row, and then we were on a rower, so we had a ski erg, and each time you had to add 2 reps to the lunge, 2 reps to the squat rows, and 2 calories to the row. And for 30 minutes, that was our workout this morning.
Oh, wow.
That's it. Just a lunge, a squat row, and a row. And by the end, we get our heart rate up into like the 160s, and because we're trying to keep an interval the whole time every time we go through it, and just doing something like that. And that's not even adding any type of plyometrics or single leg, balance and stability stuff.
Exactly.
And once you get past that, then you talk about someone who may be dealing with an injury. I think this is going to be one of those opportunities. I deal with some folks that are in their 60s and, back injuries and knee surgeries and things like that. And they want to feel the challenge of something. And the cool thing about the suspension trainer is that it's going to let you know right away as soon as something's not right. And so you're either going to have to compensate or you're going to have to, regress it a little bit. So something as simple as, I'm dealing with a knee injury and I want to start doing a lunge. Sure, I can tap my knee back and then drive back up. But then as I get a little bit better, maybe I want to keep that knee suspended. And then over time, I'll let Memphis hold on to this one. You start to work coming across the body as you're working single sides and you're working on that stability. You're working on that, that balance, that central nervous system, and all that stuff is coming together. So injury, fit as a fiddle, young, old, elite athlete. That's the really cool thing that I love most about the suspension trainer and the programming behind it. Because again, it's not just a tool, it's how you're using it, it's how you're coaching it to your clients so that they can, get the most of it.
I love that. And also I've noticed when I've started people on just a few basic exercises, they're like, why am I shaking so much? And they don't realize that one of the beautiful things about suspension training is that no matter what you're doing, it's going to be core engaged. And where there's so many other types of weight training and different things where you're isolating instead of kind of functionally incorporating a lot of different muscle groups. And so I love talking to them about, you're shaking because you're learning how to engage that core and support yourself.
I love to tell people when you're doing a chest press, the difference. I mean, I used to be a bodybuilder for a long time, so I understand what it's like to have that bench and that support and all that stuff. But when you're doing something like a chest press, the bench isn't going to move. The bar is not going to move. You've got the environment that you just have to get stronger, and you're going to compensate over time as things start to get kind of hairy in those movements. But when you get into something like a chest press, when you're facing away from the anchor point and you get those hands in, even at an easy angle, as I lower down, I have to stay stable. And it's not just it's the single anchor point, but it's this here, this locking loop that we've created, creating that instability. And so what we like to say is that this instability helps create stability within your core as you're doing the exercise. And you're right. We're all core all the time. And it's going to challenge you.
And frankly, I'm all about efficiency in my workout. And so the idea that by the time you get to the mat and actually want to do some abs on the TRX, you've already done, in all the other exercises, you've already engaged that. And so it's super efficient. And you can do, a 7 to 10 minute workout on TRX and work all the body, your whole body, your core, everything. And it's great that way. So I do love that. And one last point on injury, what I found for myself is injury and elderly is that with the TRX, you can really monitor, you make available to yourself or to an elderly person movements that would otherwise be unavailable. And so I really love that. Like a squat is not available to many elderly or to some folks that are injured, but when you have the support of the straps, you can go through the movement, and that's very powerful for rehab. So it's great. So I do love that.
Well, I mean, just getting out of a chair or, that's huge. They want to be able to get out of a chair or sit down into a chair or be able to grab something from a cupboard and do all these motions that to us are everyday activities, but over time, like that stuff starts to get a little rougher as you climb up.
It sure does. Hey, listen, Miguel and Memphis, I am so pleased you joined me today. I'm so thankful, and you've been a total trooper. I think round of applause for Miguel and Memphis as pretty freaking awesome. And I am really grateful that you joined me today. I hope that at some point we can have you back on and maybe in the studio and go through some additional exercises and different things. But this was a great introduction, and I'm super excited to connect with you again in the future. And until then, I will say goodbye to Memphis and goodbye to Miguel, and love to your daughter as well. She's adorable.
Thank you.
And we'll see you guys soon, okay?
Thanks so much. I look forward to, hopefully doing this again where we have a quieter setting and more opportunity to, maybe go through a program, but, you and I could definitely chat some more and maybe, leave a workout to go for the viewers out there.
Yes.
To go along with that special winner of the straps.
Yes, I love that. And so
how about this? I'll match your free strap with a year subscription to the TRX training app for the winner of the strap.
My word. So, okay, I am very, very excited about that.
So
that is awesome.
Because again, it's not just about the product, it's about the training that goes into it. So we don't want them to just have these straps. We want to be able to make sure that they can set a plan and have fun with it. So
okay, that's very generous, and thank you for that. I will make sure I include that in the description and the comments section so that everybody's super clear on what an incredible gift they're getting. And so thank you again. We'll check in soon, and it's been super fun. I love that you had the baby with you, and we'll call it good for today, and you can go on with your day.
Awesome. Thanks so much.
We'll see you later. Thank you.